Hey everybody, it's your man Type coming to you with another true spook story. Now before I begin, I'm going to ask that you hit that like button. Go and subscribe to the channel and share me with your friends and family if you think you're not Robert. I've been letting these videos just air out, but I'm going to have to ask that you guys share me because it's becoming a little, tedious. So bring them to you every week and I want to keep doing it. Alright, so share me, like, subscribe. Treat your boy good. These are real life stories, and I appreciate you so much in advance. Well, this story is going to take place in Orlando, Florida, around by the Lana Doone area. It's going to span two parts, but mainly this happened in Lake Lana Doone, downtown Orlando, right across from the Camping World Stadium. It used to be Tanker Field, but right across from Camping World Stadium, Lake Lana Doone. So there was this guy by the name of Stanley. Now Stanley was always an asshole, got in trouble, shit. He was good for busting your ass up when it came down to it. You know, Stanley grew up in a house where, his mama was a minister, his grandfather was a preacher, his daddy was a deacon. They was all around this. They was all members of this church, all over there off of what we call Little Egypt. That's off of American Boulevard, over there off Ivor Lane Road. Well, Stanley, he grew up in a Christian family, prayed every day. They even had him come home and they eat by 5:36, and it was against the law in their house, or against God's law in their house, to eat anything after 7 o'clock. If you eat anything after 7 o'clock, you sinning. And they wasn't Jehovah Witnesses and nothing like that, but they just had some funny Christian doctrines that I never seen before, me or my family. So again, Stanley, he turned out to be one of the wild childs, fighting, fussing, fucking hoes, always in the streets, arguing with the preachers, arguing with the grandma, skipping out on church. So Stanley grew up to be a real tough cookie, man. I mean, real tough. So Stanley started hanging around with me and my cousin Robert. And Stanley was a little bit more advanced than us because we still had grandmama, and my mama didn't. We got our ass whooped. But Stanley had grown so big and so bad, and his parents were so old and in the church, they couldn't whoop him because they thought that he'd end up swinging on them. So Stanley done started hanging around me and Robert. And so now Stanley getting us in all kind of trouble. Now I ain't hanging out with my other homeboys. This is like Stanley, because when Stanley came around, they were like, "Man, you finna hang out with that fuck nigga?" I'm like, "Man, Stanley cool," because Stanley had our back no matter what. So they'll be like, "Nigga, you hang out with Stanley, I'm finna go on over here." And, I said, "Cool, y'all get the fuck on then." I ain't want to leave Stanley stranded. So me, Robert, Stanley, we hanging out. We going up and down the road, laughing, buying little Fago sodas and flips and shit. We doing the damn thing. We living it like he jumping gates, stealing oranges and shit, picking oranges, stealing grapefruit. We having real fun with Stanley. He was mischievous as fuck. You don't get them type of friends no more. So one day we all sat out there we saw this abandoned car. And Stanley told, shit, fuck it, I started. All right, so one day we saw this abandoned car, and the abandoned car was sitting next to Magic Fry. It was like a white Buick Skylark, and it was sitting up there on the left-hand side of Magic Fry. It was sitting on the left-hand side of Magic Fry if you was to be facing it. And so, Stanley had came up there and he had about 3 little handguns. Stanley had the real gun and he had 2 pellet guns. And back in them days, you would get the little CO2 canister you used to put in the handle of the gun, and you twist the little knob up, you twist the little bottom of it, and it'll puncture the canister. Then you put the clip on it, You load the pellets in there and it will rapid fire so you can shoot about, 20 pellets out the gun using CO2 compression. So we was on our shit like, nigga, we Miami Vice, we run around this bitch, we Ice Cube and Doughboy now, we Boys in the Hood, Ministers of Society Energy, we that, all that. So Stanley had the bright idea to go shoot up this abandoned car. Now the car did sit there for like 5-6 days. As we walking from Wellco, going to Magic Fry, nobody started to look in it because it had one of them the sun protection window screens up there. So, and we ain't finna go look on the side. It ain't our business. We kids, fuck. Nigga parked the car, maybe a bomb living in the bitch. We ain't know. So one day Stanley said, dog, let's shoot this motherfucking car with these BB guns and this real gun. At that time I was fat, man. I was about 14, 15 years old. I was still a little chubby ass little kid. I ain't get no body fat. I made no muscle, no shit. So I said, cool. So I go up there, Robert go up there, Stanley go up there. So I'm sitting up there. I see Stanley, well, I'm sitting up there shooting with the pellet gun. Because it only came out 3 per shot. Cousin Robert, he's sitting up there, he did some rig shit and he had that motherfucker just built. So all his pellets were coming out like, as long as he hold the trigger, they'll come out. So Stanley had a real gun and Stanley said, pah, 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 pah. So we just sitting up there laughing on the middle of the street, Ivy Lane Road, shooting up this car that we thought was abandoned. Well, turns out the car wasn't abandoned. It was this dude living in the car. And he had made a deal with the motherfuckers at Magic Fry, that he could sleep on the property and shit as long as he keep it clean. So none of our pellets entered the windshield. I was bouncing off the hood, bouncing off the windshield, but Stanley had the real gun, and his gun ended up going through the windshield and striking the little bomb homeless dude that was in there. Nah, all of a sudden we see like when the shade fell down, because Stanley bullets penetrated the windshield. When the shades fell down, we end up seeing, like the head of the dude, and his head was leaning back on the driver's side of the thing. On the driver's side of the seat. So we ran up there to it, and I'm like, dude, this dude bleeding in his shoulder. And Stanley was like, oh shit, somebody was in there? I say, dog, somebody was in here, bro. I say, oh man, we done killed somebody, we done fucked somebody up. So now I'm the fat boy. I'm panicking. So right when we saw what was going on, a bodybuilding type dude, I guess he passed by and saw us shooting at the car, and he heard Stanley's shots ring out. So when he heard Stanley's shots ring out, he spent that bitch back around. And he came back, so when he pulled up in the Magic Fry, cousin Robert and Stanley, they were in way better shape than me. So they took off. They bent the gate over there Ivy Lane Middle School, behind the wood. They bent the gate. I'm too fat, I'm trying to run. But then I said, fuck it, I ain't going nowhere. So I turn around and I throw my gun on the ground because the dude wasn't the police or nothing. And he was like, so why you didn't run? I say, ain't no need in running. I ain't want to tell him, bitch, I'm fat. Ain't no need in running. I say, shit, you called me. I say, I ain't killing. I say, the nigga that bleed. I say, I ain't killing him or nothing. I say, but the nigga bleeding. He was probably bleeding before we came up and shooting pellet guns at the car. And he say, I heard real gunshot. I say, I don't know about no real gunshot, sir. I say, we got pellet guns. I say, you can look at my gun. I ain't gonna pick it up because I don't know if you're police or not. He was like, no, I ain't no police. And he crossed his arms and he smiled at me. He say, so you the real one of the group. I said, I don't know what that means. I said, y'all gonna try to fuck me anyway, 15. I said, y'all kill niggas like me. He like, no, I ain't no cop. He say, but let's check this car. So he go back there and he checked the car. He found out, the homeless man was so drunk in the car or high on drugs that he didn't really know he got shot, but his arms was bleeding. He say, oh, he ain't do nothing but shoot him with a 38 and it went straight through. He said, we just gonna leave this alone. He said, go on, pick up your little pellet gun and go on home now. He said, you're a real one, keep that real heart. So, I'm like, cool. So, I pick up my gun and I'm walking back and he just got his arm crossed smiling at me. Now, remember that dude, what I'm telling you about, remember now. So I get back to Stanley and I say, Stanley, you shot some nigga in the arm. He say, how you got away, dog? Your fat ass, they laughing at me and shit. I say, oh boy said that I was a real one because I ain't run. I said, and he said he ain't gonna call the police on me, he gonna let me go. But he said he'll see me again one day and shit like that. So I fist bumped him and shit and he let me go. He said, nigga, you lucky. So now Stanley done shot somebody in his mind. It ain't when they revenge, big crime. He just done shot a bit. So Stanley walk around the community like he a bad motherfucker. Like, bitch, I got this little 38. I put it in your ass. So Stanley going down there to Big B. He get into it with Emmett. Now Emmett was Emmett was that cat that he played too much. Even when you having a bad day, he still want to play with you, thump your ear, he'll sit up there and reach in your pocket, pull out your flag if you're flagging that day, and he'll do that shit. And he like to tell jokes or like to clown you. So one day Emmett go up there and he clowning Stanley. So Stanley already got a little taste that now that he done shot somebody, he might. So he turned around and he bust Emmett. Bam. So now he done bust Emmett. Bam. Emmett hit the ground, fall to the ground. Nigga, you shot me. He done shot Emmett in the stomach. So now at close range too. So now we all sitting out there, man, nigga, that's Emmett. He a dummy. So it's like, fuck that nigga, he gonna start trying me. So we all break out and scatter. My fat ass got across the street this day. Bitch, I saw him shooting. We hang out. So the Arabs at the store sat up there and told the police what Stanley did. So they went around to the house and arrested him and shit like that. So Stanley get locked up for shooting Emmett. So now about 4, 5, 15, I gotta say about 6, 7 years done passed. So I know I'm good, 21, 22. I couldn't be over 23 though. So now I'm fucking up and I done did some shit. I know the police were called and I went to court or something like that. So now they gave me community service. Now people, this is where the shit finna get real interesting, right? I done told you the backstory. I done told you how we got here. It's finna get real interesting. I always give a disclaimer. People, if you don't like the fucking words I use, the way I talk, it's gonna take away from the story. Please get off this bitch because there's people on here that understand my generation, where we come from. I ain't got no motherfucking negative energy towards anything I say. So if I call you cracker, pussy, nigga, all that shit, fat, trust me, it's part of the story. This will make it authentic. If not, get off the page. Don't do no dumb shit. Don't ruin this shit for the good people, man. This real life shit that I went through. It's how we did it. Disclaimer. Trigger warning, whatever the fuck. Now back to the story. So I'm walking around London Park and I done got community service. So I gotta pick up paper. So I gotta be at this park by 3-4 months. Plus take an anger management course. So while at the park picking up paper, I see Stanley come out the bathroom in a janitor's outfit. Even, he had to go all around all the parks in Orlando and he had to clean the parks up, like janitor outfit, bucket, scrub, brush, mask, gloves, all that shit. So he had to clean out all the public bathrooms, all the public parks, because this was his probation officer. This was his probation punishment for when he got out of the county. Out of prison for shooting attempted murder to Emmett. So he run up, he say, tight nigga, that's you? I say, what's up? He say, bitch, you done lost all that weight. Look at you trying to look like I did back in the day. And I say, bro, you grew your hair. I say, nigga, you looking good. So we laughing at each other. We getting each other hugs and shit, man. So he like, I say, man, I got some weed. You want something? He like, no, I don't smoke. I say, what? I say, good. So, I said, I'm finna burn this bitch. He said, you can't smoke around me, bro. So I said, okay, respect. I'm thinking the motherfucker to turn Muslim, So he said, hey, I'm finna take my lunch break. Come over here to the table with me. I said, yeah, I'm out there just with a bucket and a goddamn stick pit. So he go over there, take his lunch break, he pull a little sandwich out, and he eat his little, got a little sandwich, he got a little lunchbox and shit. Then he pull out his little Bible from his little lunchbox, so he reading the Bible. So he start quoting scripture to me and shit. That's what he into. My mama was a Christian, so I listened to him. So he said, I'm gonna come back out here later on tonight. You gonna come out, you'll meet me out here, man, and we can hang out. And I ain't seen Stanley in a while. Cousin Robert, Auntie had kept him away from me, because Robert was messing up into that and shit. So I said, yeah, my nigga, I got you. So, I go home, get into my little car, come back up there at nighttime. Now, back in them day, people, there was a lot of homosexuality going on in them parks. Guys would meet up at the public parks. They'd be in there ass fucking and shit, doing whatever. And, cops would come do some raids. Or, guys would meet the young boys, because the cameras wasn't like that back in the day. Guys would meet the young boys and pedophile them little boys and shit. And, just a real lot of sissy shit going on. So Stanley, by him being in prison, he had been touched on. So he had developed a real disdain for those type of people and those type of energy. So now Stanley is up there and he walk around and he reading the Bible. And he'll hide in the bush. I mean, literally loped out high, wearing all black. The only thing he used to put on is a reflecting jacket like the people wear when they run, or like the city wear when they working on the street. He'll put that on when he's rushing in the bathroom to try to catch the pedophiles. And all the little gay shit, homosexual activity that was going on in the bathroom. So he'll rush up in there. And so now he started like doing this shit. So when I sat back, he said, just stay right here. He gets up, throw on his vest. He walks across the motherfucking street to the park, to the little bathroom. And we had Lana Doone Park downtown. Walk past that bit, he kick in the door. Boom. And he goes to reading the Bible. And he say, the wages of sin is death. Man shouldn't sleep with man, and woman shouldn't sleep with woman. He hardcore quoting the Bible. So, we seeing the dudes like, you fucking lunatic, you crazy, man. They running out of the bathroom, zipping up and shit. So I'm across the street like, this nigga done lost his motherfucking mind. So you would think that that's all he was doing, spooking bitches, keeping them from fucking off and all that shit. So Stanley would go, and he would go in, like, if they would leave a condom wrapper, or, a fingerprint wax and shit, like oil from the skin, he'll take a paper towel and he'll clean the bathroom up. But he wouldn't dispose of the shit that he find that, like someone would leave their clothes and their drawers. It got real bad, people. So he'll put it in a plastic bag, and he like had everything segregated. Each plastic bag for each item of clothing or each person that they came from, like that type of energy. So I say, man, why are you keeping the clothes? I say, he probably gonna take it to the police station, tell the DNA test and shit. The DNA testing had just came out real heavy. I say, this motherfucker a real Boy Scout superhero type nigga. So he was like, he say, I'm gonna bring all this shit to an end. He say, I can't stand faggots. I'm gonna bring all this shit to an end, dog. And I was like, okay, bro. I say, that's you, do you, man. I say, cool. He like, I can't stand that homosexual shit. That's what's killing the world right now. And he just was adamant. So I said, okay. I went out there with him like 2-3 nights straight in a row. No job, people. I ain't gonna lie to you one word. So I seen him do this, and he kept the stuff. So, but I never hear him say, I dropped the shit off at the police station. I never hear anything like that. He just kept the stuff. So I say, what's going on, man? I say, you just picking up these people condoms and shit, man. I say, you probably gonna catch what you call hepatitis and shit. I say, man, what the fuck you got going on? He said, you want to see? Yeah, he said, come to my crib. The crazy thing about it, he lived literally less than 6 minutes up the road from Lana Doone Park on Church Street in these gray apartments. And I said, okay, so went into his crib, locked the door. This man has so many like spiritual altars and statues of deities, of rishas, anything you want to. Fire and brimstone, hatred, helpers, dead mice, dead cats and shit just hanging around his house. And I stepped in and I'm like, man, I thought you were Christian, bro. What's going on here? He like, no. He said, I am Christian. He said, but you gotta defeat evil with evil. He said, you can't defeat it with the word of God. The word of God don't work. I say, well, dude, I say, the word of God do work. My mama Christian, my grandma Christian. I said, your parents Christian. He said, let me tell you something, man. When I was in that house, my dad and my granddaddy was raping me, bro. He said, so I hate homosexuality. They shouldn't have did that to a little boy. You think, well, I had to build myself up into my hill, fucking off and whooping ass and shit. He said, I wasn't supposed to be that angry as a kid. And he started crying. So, I'm like, okay, I wanted to give him a hug, brotherly hug, like, come on, bro, bring it in. But I saw how he didn't like homosexuality. So I ain't finna hug on him, and then he get the little inkling in the mind, okay, tight, kind of swinging that way. So, I back up. I say, come on, man, let's get out of here. Let's shake it off, bro. Let's go on here. I say, let's take a walk. Put your little trinkets and items and keepsakes up over there on the corner, bro. Let's do this. I say, come on, man, let's run down here and get something to eat. Yeah, man. I say, let's walk on down to Church of Chicken, bro. We got time. So, yeah, so we can walk down to Church of Chicken. He talking. So, around by 1, 2 in the morning came, because we out there just drinking sodas and eating Church of Chicken and biscuits. So I said, I'm finna go. My daddy lived over there off of Division. So, right, that's where the Amway Center, they call it the Kids Center now. That's where the Amway Center was. Yeah, it was that apartment there. That's where my daddy lived, right off Division. So I shoot my head down there, on my bike, run to Division. And I'm talking to dad and shit. So then the next day I go see grandma. I said, grandma, let me ask you a question. I said, Stanley got this thing, man. Well, he's starting to hate people who gay. And she said, Lil Stanley? Who grandma, the preacher? And I said, I think that's his mama and his granddaddy and his daddy. Yeah, they live over there in Little Egypt. I said, yes, ma'am. Why he hate faggots? Faggot ain't did nothing to nobody but be faggot. I said, well, he say they were touching him when he was a chick over there, grandma. She said, I knew it. Them motherfucker was moving too easy. I knew something was wrong with they motherfucking ass and janky bitches. I just knew it. I said, yes, ma'am. And so what the fuck you coming up here telling me about his what he sitting up there? Is he punking now? I said, no, man, quite the opposite. I said, he raiding these bathrooms at night when the dudes in there fucking each other, linking up. She said, that boy gonna end up get himself killed. I say, I was with him 3 nights straight, grandma. I say, but that ain't what I'm telling you. She said, you were with motherfucking what? She said, you out here punk hunting with this nigga, knowing you a good boy. I said, grandma, I wasn't punk hunting with nobody. I say, I wanted to scope out the scene because, I was going to try to talk some sense. I said, he had a Bible in his hand, so I thought he was just preaching to the cat. Say, yo, he is preaching. I said, he was reading, a verse out of Exodus. I done heard you say it. She said, what verse out of Exodus? I say, grandma, Exodus 15. I know this verse where it say that, if you believe in God, he'll wash away your sins and all that stuff. She said, let me see what the fuck you talking about. So grandma go to the Bible and she had a dollar bill right there. And the dollar bill had her name on it 7 times. And she had dipped it in some olive oil. And she had placed it in there. Exodus 15, verse 26. And I'm going to repeat what Stanley used to walk in there and say to these people. If you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord your God, and do that which is right in his eyes, and give ears to his commandment, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on the Egyptian, for I am the Lord, your healer. Now, that's what I told grandmama, and grandma said, ooh, say he trying to heal them. I said, yes, ma'am. I say, but grandma, he not trying to heal them like that. I say, he taking their items, the stuff that we do. She say, what item? I say, I done seen him pick up discarded condom. I say, I done seen him pick up people's shoes and socks, or take their whole clothing. I say, he put them in a trash bag, little plastic Ziploc bag. I say, then he go to the crazy part. He take them to his house, right over there off of Church Street, in the apartments upstairs. I said, he got all kind of altars. He got more altars than me and you, grandma. And she like, I need to see these altars. He don't know what he's doing, and he's gonna get himself fucked up. And I know he your friend. I said, yes, ma'am. So she said, take me over there tomorrow. I said, yes, ma'am. So grandma get off work, she come pick me up. I take him over there. I knew he was home because he was gonna take a nap so he could go old night riding, what grandma called it, punk hunting. So knock on the door. He opened the door. He said, grandma, how you doing? She said, hey, baby, good to see you. So grandma walked in and gave him a kiss. He's like, grandma, I always love you. And grandma said, you gonna invite me in? Yes, ma'am, come on in, come on in. The house is a little messy. He said, don't worry about this stuff right here, grandma. This ain't nothing. It's just something I put in here. I still believe in the word of God. She said, you ain't got to lie to me. She said, I know what you're doing. She said, my grandson told me. I know what you're doing. He said, what? You sitting up here putting voodoo on them people, on them punks. When you go out there and hunt, what you trying to do? Inflict them with something? Stop them for doing something? What it is? And why you doing it? And he looked at grandma and he just broke down crying in front of him. They was touching me in the house, and when I went to prison, they touched me too. And, I was in there 4 years before I learned how to defend myself against them. And they were touching me all in 4 years. He said, I hate this faggot shit. Hate this faggot. And grandma said, baby, don't get that hate out your heart. I know it hurt you. She could comfort her. Get that hate out your heart. I know it hurt you. But you shouldn't sit up here and let what these motherfuckers did to you, dumping that filth all in you and shit. So you shouldn't let that have you hurting people. People need to live now. Yeah, I want them to live. I want them to live. That's why I go and I read Exodus to them. I let them know. And grandma said, but why you got this spiritual stuff around here? This voodoo, baby. This is different than that Bible you read. I said, grandma, what I do, I sit up there and I put a reverse curse on them. I put a reverse curse on them. I read Exodus where God said, if you listen to my commandments, I'll remove the curses. But here, when I catch them, I take their possession and I put curses on them. I make them catch herpes. I make them catch HIV and AIDS. I don't care. Grandma, they gonna stop fucking with me. And grandma say, baby, I know it hurt you, but you can't use the word like that. It's the heal. It's the clean. No, grandma, if you know anything about this spiritual stuff, the word can be used for that. You say, because when I was in there, they end up giving me AIDS. I'm sitting up here dying because these faggots sitting up there and fucking me in prison. I'm a young man. Say, my daddy fucked me, my granddaddy fucked me, my grandma didn't do nothing about it. Man, I'm sitting up here with this shit and I can't do nothing about it. So I'm gonna save as many people I can and I'm gonna punish as many of them as I can. So I said, oh boy. So, grandma sitting up there arguing with him. And he crying and he come over there looking at me and he want to give me a hug with snot and shit running down his nose, tears and shit. And you got to think, people, I'm 21, 22. This is 20 some years ago. We didn't understand how HIV and AIDS work or herpes work. We didn't know you couldn't get it from, just tears or some shit, hugging somebody. So I was kind of spooked out on the shit. Hey man, hold the fuck up. I threw the bitch the elbow in the air real quick, like, hold up, man. And grandma said, baby, it's okay, give him a hug. He protected. So he like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I put you in my shit. And grandma said, well, let me look at these altars, make sure you're doing it right. We need to reverse this now. We don't need people dying. We don't need that blood on your hand. Don't know how long you've been doing it. I've been doing this for the last 3 years. I've been out of prison. See, I've been doing this. And I've been doing this 3 years. I get off probation in 5 more years. So I'm going to do it every time I got to clean the park. I'm going to raid and look. So grandma go in. She go walk around this altar. And grandma said, well, I can't touch the altar, baby. And grandma said, well, can you take it off the altar for me? I don't know, grandma. I don't know. I feel some sort of way. I just want revenge. Grandma like, you're going to get your revenge, baby. So he reluctantly start taking all of it down. And grandma said, go on back, y'all, dig a hole. I'll be down there soon. So grandma go and pop the trunk. She get the kerosene out the trunk. He done dug a hole and all the stuff from the homosexual men he had found, he had started putting inside the hole, that he had dug. And I would pour the kerosene on it. He'd come back. I'll pour some more kerosene on it. Come back. So grandma was doing it. So there was one altar in the hallway closet that he did not it was one altar in the hallway closet that he did not like want to take the stuff off. He did it with a lot of except that one. So grandma said, "Why you ain't gonna remove the stuff off of that, baby? Come on, let's just take this all. Let's get your conscience clear." He said, "I can't do it off of that one." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Grandma, let him alone. He doing a lot now." And grandma said, "Well, I just want that one." She said, "That's the one that's really hurting." He said, "I can't, grandma." So, you know me, my clueless ass. "Why the fuck you can't, nigga?" I said, "Grandma helping your soul." And he said, "That's my daddy on that altar." He said, "I want my daddy to get sick. I want my daddy to get this. I want this right here." Because the granddaddy had already passed. But his daddy wasn't never getting no diseases, so he knew. So I went over there and I looked at the picture on the thing. Turned around, the dude who let me run away when I was a jit from shooting at the little car behind Magic 5 with the BB gun, that was the dude that turned out to be his daddy. And he said, "Oh yeah, Type, my daddy used to always say," because my daddy saw me run away that day, and he used to always say, "Who the little fat kid that you always hanging with?" And I told him you was a Gunju grandson, and he was like, "That's a cute boy, that's a nice boy. You should hang out with him more." He said, "That's why I stopped hanging out with y'all, because if you would have came to the house, daddy probably would have touched you." So I'm like, what the fuck? So now grandma say, "What? He would have did what to my grandbaby?" So now grandma motherfucking upset. Grandma heated. So I said, "Grandma, I don't know nothing. I'm a grown ass man. You can't handle these hands right now, grandma." I said, I DDT his ass because wrestling was big. You know, we using wrestling connotations and shit. I said, "I DDT that bitch in the curb, grandma." And she was like, So she said, "Well, you leave that bitch up there. He shouldn't have touch you, and he damn sure ain't gonna fuck with my grandbaby." And so we went outside, we went out there and we burnt all the shit. He just crying. Even the stuff he had got, he crying. So grandma said, "Okay, baby, you good. Come on in this house." So when grandma went up in the house, grandma had beeline back to the car to put up the kerosene and all of the magical stuff that she had got out of her trunk. And she go back in the house. So grandma come up there with a bag in her hand. And grandma told me, "Hold this Bible." And she said, "Read Exodus right now. Read the verse." So I read the verse over again. She said, "Don't you stop reading. Complete it. Don't you stop reading until I tell you to." And she grabbed this brown paper bag. It had a rod in it. And the rod was like heavy as fuck, like a metal, like iron, thick, solid, no hollow, about the size of a 7-day candle. And I seen it here because when she dropped it in his hand in the bag, he dropped his hand down, so it had to be about 4 or 5 pounds. He said, "But baby, I'm going to show you how to punish this motherfucker." She said, "If you're going to deal with blood magic, you need to deal with blood." So she said, "I need you to go and get your knife, go on in there, put your knife and cut your hand real quick." Told him to cut his hand. She said, "We finna get revenge on this nigga for doing that to you." Man, he cut his hand. The left hand too. Cut his left hand. He took the thick rod out the bag, people, and he put it on his hand and he rubbed around. She said, "Now what I want you to do, I want you to take the other thing and get them rust metal shapes." She said, "Sprinkle it on that light like a dust. That ain't nothing but metal, like a iron. Coat that in the iron. Get your blood, squeeze some more blood out your hand on it. We're gonna coat it. The blood gonna stick to it." He did everything. I'm just constantly reading. I'm looking. I'm constantly reading. "Okay, baby, now what I want you to do, I want you to get me a pair of dirty underwear out that bag I know you kept in the closet. And your daddy underwear, take them out." He said, "How you know it's there?" She said, "I know everything, baby. Get me them underwear." But when he got the underwear, grandma took the underwear, took his hands, and had wrapped them around the underwear. And she said, "Now this is what I want you to do." She laid it down on this clay pot that she had brought up there. Laid the metal rod in this clay pot. I'll never forget it. The clay pot did some crazy shit. She put the rod in the clay pot, like stuffed the underwear in there first, rod in the clay pot and shit with the boy blood and the metal shaving. And she set the underwear on fire. When she set the underwear on fire, the the metal pipe got real hot. Now, people, it take a lot of heat to turn some shit cherry red. It shouldn't have did it with just burning drawers, burning fabric. The boy blood burnt off the metal pole, the metal shavings, the rusted metal shavings burnt off the metal rod Grandma had put in that thing. And then the clay flower pot that was in the motherfucker that the shit was sitting in, it cracked into 4 equal pieces. 4 equal pieces. My grandma say, okay, now this is what I want you to do. You take that motherfucking clay pot, you're gonna go in your kitchen, you're gonna grind it down to dust. You're gonna grind them all down, keep one hole. You say that one hole, you're gonna leave it on the altar, and you're gonna sit his picture on top of that clay pot. She said you're gonna take the other powder that you made from the other 3 individual places, and you're just gonna go to his house, and you're just gonna sprinkle it in his yard, sprinkle it on his door handle, sprinkle it on his porch, sprinkle it everywhere. And the dude crying, and he followed it to the T. He said, Grandma, what this gonna do? She said, he'll have AIDS by tomorrow, baby. And he was like, what? That he'll have AIDS by tomorrow and he won't live the motherfucking Sunday. When I say it took that man at least 2 months to die. He called his son, he said, son, I'm not doing well, I got sick, got AIDS. Next thing you know, 2 months passed, he withered down so fucking quick and so fucking bad. On a Sunday, that man was dead. When he died, Grandma went back over there after the boy went to his funeral. How you feel? He said, I feel good, Grandma. He said, I know you do. She said, now you can tear down that altar and clear your conscience. And you can stop hurting the homosexual people that ain't do nothing to you. He said, yes, ma'am. So he walked to the store when he got the kerosene, and he had the whole Grandma just sat there hugging and kissing. And she reading the Bible, Exodus verse right there too. And I'm just sitting out there next to her, holding the shovel and picking up the kerosene and shit. And as he's setting it on fire and she reading it, and she said, baby, how you feel? She just kept asking him every time she finished it, how you feel? And he just boo-hoo cried, So she said, I need you to go down there to Central Clinic. She said, I need you to go get your test, and I need you to tell me your status, okay? Yeah, he knew he had came out of prison with HIV and AIDS. People, I can't make this shit up. Knew it. The man went down to Central. They asked him, you were just sick, where the AIDS go? Boy came back laughing. Grandma, I ain't got AIDS no more. They say I ain't got it in the system, it ain't suppressed. And they didn't have no suppression medicine like the guys going on now. I don't see it. They say it's a miracle. Grandma said, I know it's a miracle, baby. And he said, what you did? Hey, I ain't do nothing, you did it. See what we did? We transferred your sickness over there to him. Say what you supposed to have died. We speeded it up and transferred it over to him. That's why I broke in 4 equal parts. You had 4 years to live with it. We took 3 away. That's why he didn't listen to you. And you clean. People. Stanley was so motherfucking happy, y'all. Stanley got him a girlfriend because he was celibate. Stanley got him a girlfriend. He stopped reading the Bible. He put up different altars in his house. He was a spiritual, and he was the second faction to Grandma. Grandma would always go over and drop something at his house and tell him to hold some spiritual stuff. He would hold it. So people, I'm finna just let you hear some of what I just said. I want to recap. The man had his eyes on me as a fat little vulnerable kid. Stanley daddy. That's why when Stanley seen his daddy turn around, him and Robert took off and left me there. And he stopped fucking with me. My homeboy Stanley stopped fucking with me because he was protecting me from his pedophile ass daddy. Then the man go to jail. Man get out. He had a hatred for his pops, so he hurting every other homosexual person in that time back then. They ain't have a safe space like they got now. And Grandma had to stop him from that because I think he would have ended up actually hurting them people, man. Physically, not spiritually. But Grandma helped him handle the root cause. His daddy died of AIDS, cleared out his system, transferred to his daddy. His daddy died of AIDS, and Stanley got on probation early and everything. He never spoke with the people at London Doon or any public parts. But due to that, when he told his story to his probation officer, that's when they started kicking in the park doors, and that's when they started putting lights and cameras at the park, and that's when they start making sure, to watch this, like to charge people who they caught indecent exposure in the bathroom doing homosexuality stuff here in Orlando, Florida. Now, people don't know if that was scary, but I hope it taught you something. I'm finna let you go. We'll talk about it in the recap. All right, everybody, I'm tight. Telling you guys, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, but it's the truth, no doubt. Take care, God bless, and much love. And remember, what you consider waste may just be mess. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.